Hey guys, Lawrence Presman here. You're watching WagerTalk Today. We got a great show lined up. If you guys have never seen this show, we bring on 4 guests every day. We give out betting information pertinent to making you money. Everybody loves money. Therefore, everybody loves this show. Steve Merril will be our first guest. He's going to take a deep dive into the Big South Conference men's basketball tournament preview and the Horizon League men's basketball tournament preview. And he's also going to give you exactly who to bet on the Kansas-Houston game. That's tonight, and it's on ESPN. After that, we have Andrew McInnis. We got a big slate of NHL games. He's going to look at the Senators and the Capitals, the Lightnings and the Panthers, and the Islanders and the Rangers. Jesse Schule after that. Duke is playing tonight. They're playing Wake Forest. We'll tell you how to bet that game. It's also on ESPN. We're going to look at the Rockets and the Thunder and the Kings against the Mavericks. Gianni at the end of the show with his team report. And of course, I will break down every game on the board in the NHL. Welcome. Let's go. Steve Merril. How you doing, my brother?
Doing well, Prez. It's March. The madness has begun. When I last saw you, it was February. It is now March. Great time of the year to be following college hoops.
I'm done with, I'm handicapping college hoops, but if you told me the score, I would still get the bet wrong. It has been that kind of year for me, and I've been very open about it. I cannot find any rhythm at all in college basketball. So, I'm not as excited as you, but I get it, bro. I'm more excited about NHL. Let's start with the Big South Conference. You've got a tournament preview for us. I have no idea where you're going. I'll kick back and hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we're going to look at the Big South, also going to look at the Horizon League. They both start this week, and talk some general thoughts when handicapping these college tournaments so they can be great moneymakers. So the first thing I'll mention, though, is that the lines are accurate this time of the year. And in fact, the most accurate lines in the entire college basketball season will be the next 2 weeks during the conference tournaments. And it makes a lot of sense why. They all have common opponents. They've all played 10, 12, 14 common opponents, 18 common opponents in some leagues. So the odds makers have a good database to look at. And it really is as simple as looking at conference-only stats. So if you want to analyze these games throughout all the November and December, because a lot of these mid-major teams, smaller conference teams, get blown out early, working new pieces in. Conference-only stats are a great handicapping tool this time of the year, and I think they're very reliable. You also want to make sure, obviously, key players weren't missing or have come back. Let's start with the Big South tournament. The formats also, you got to look into the formats of these tournaments. Some play on home court, some don't. Most don't anymore. Some give teams double byes. Some play no-rest situations. The Big South tournament is pretty straightforward. There's only 9 teams. This is how it used to be when I started in the 90s, 8, 9-team tournaments. And this is one of the old school formats. The 8 and 9 seeds play each other for an extra game, and then everyone else gets a bye into the quarterfinals. It becomes an 18 tournament. You'll see there are real 2 bottom feeders this year. U.S. Upstate, one of the worst teams in the country, 2-14 in the conference. Gardner-Webb, 5-11. They will play the play-in game, which is tomorrow, actually Wednesday. And then they have to turn right around and play the number 1 seed High Point at noon on Friday, a couple days later. I like it better than no rest, but one of my favorite angles in conference tournaments, and it'll apply here, is to play the rested number 1 seed against the bottom feeder. Everyone thinks, well, they've got momentum, they're coming in. Now, they had to play the extra game because they're awful. High Point is by far the class of this league. They are the team to beat. I'd be surprised if they don't win it. They're much better than anybody else in this conference. They went overall, I think they only had like 6 losses on the year. High Point's actually a top 90 net rating team. Not going to get an at-large, but they'll make some noise if they do make the NCAA tournament. So whoever wins that play-in game, take a look at High Point on Friday afternoon at noon Eastern. If you're going to play it, I would lay it in that one. Winthrop has made some noise over the years. UNC Asheville, the only other 2 teams here, maybe Radford. But once again, High Point, the class of this league, I'd be very surprised if they don't win it because, once again, it's a one-bid conference, and they have to win it to get in the tournament.
There we go. Steve Merril joining us, everybody. Steve is an incredible handicapper, especially in both the NBA and college hoops. I want to welcome you all to the chat room. Dan Seidel, Prez, your NHL is on fire. That it is, my brother. Olger, hello, guys. Thank you for your hard work. I really appreciate it. Thank you for logging in every day. Justin P. Blocked, all of you guys. Really appreciate you being here with us. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. Steve, we are like 4,000 away from 200,000 subscribers. That's unbelievable, dude. I honestly, I never in my wildest dreams thought we would ever get to 200,000 subscribers. And once there, it's on the way to 500,000. So let's make that happen, everybody. We need about 3,500 of you, and we're at 200K. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, Steve. So we're going to talk another tournament today, the Horizon League. And how do you perceive this going down?
Yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention in the Big South, High Point's like minus 250. Everybody else is 9-1 or higher. So they're a clear-cut favorite in that one. And there's only obviously, 7 other teams they'd have to beat because they get to the quarterfinals. Horizon League is wide open, and this is a totally different type of handicap, and it's a totally different type of format. This is what I'm talking about knowing the format. Very unique situation here. We have 11 teams in the Horizon League, and the first 2 rounds are actually played on true home courts, the opening round and the quarterfinals. And then the semis and finals next week will be in Indianapolis. This is an 8-day tournament. It starts tomorrow on Tuesday, and it finishes next week on Tuesday on a neutral court. So something to keep in mind with your handicapping. Once again, the top 4 seeds, as a lot of tournaments do now, the top 4 seeds get a double bye, basically, or a single bye to the quarterfinals. They'll get a home game in a couple nights, which means the bottom teams all have to play extra games. Green Bay is by far the worst team in this conference, 2-18. As you see there, they're one of the worst teams in the nation. Detroit Mercy, pretty bad as well. But something else I want to point out about this tournament, and it's very unique. I don't think many others do this. They reseed every round because the lowest seed plays the highest seed. So it's not a locked-in bracket like you see in all these other conferences and in the NCAA tournament. So number 1 seed Robert Morris does not know necessarily who they will play. They don't just automatically play like the winner of the lowest seed game. And they'll get the lowest seed, which could be any of these teams. So a little bit of a twist there. Those games are on Thursday, so they only have 1 day of prep. But once again, on 1 day short's notice for both squads, and with travel factored in for the lower seed, definitely lean towards those 4 home teams, the top 4 seeds on Thursday in the quarterfinal round. So something to keep an eye on there. As far as the odds in this conference, it's wide open. You've got Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Robert Morris, Cleveland State, all at like 2.5 to 1. All 3 of them less than 3 to 1. And then you've got like Fort Wayne, Youngstown, both around 8 to 1. So this conference is wide open. I really think it could go to anybody. It's a very mediocre league. Every team is outside the top 150 in net rating. High Point was like top 90. All these teams are not even the top half of the country. 364 teams, and none of them are even top 150. So it's a real bottom feeder league. I think we could see some upsets here, but just wanted to point out the unique format that they reseed and that there are true home courts in the first couple rounds.
Lots of show ahead. Andrew McInnis, Jesse Schule, Gianni the Greek. I'll take apart every NHL game. Steve Merrill's going to look at Kansas and Houston. It goes tonight. But before we get into that, we have a site-wide college basketball promo. It's definitely worth using. Not on me. It is $199. You get the rest of college basketball all the way to the national championship game, and that's under $5 a day. Please take advantage of that. Steve Merril, what do you have going for the clients?
Yeah, it's a great offer. You're going to get the rest of college hoops for $199. That's less than $5 a day. The rest of the regular season. Don't forget the big boys still have another week of regular season action. We'll have another top 25 video this Saturday, daily free play videos here throughout the week. So click subscribe, click that bell here on WagerTalk TV to check the free plays, and then get my personal best bets along with a daily free play, a bonus free play. My last cut goes up free for everybody. WT.buzz/SM, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And let's not sleep on baseball. I know we're excited for March Madness. I'm number 1 all-time NBA profit leader at WagerTalk, but baseball starts in about 3 weeks. And I won over 100 units in baseball alone last year. We doubled our bankroll by August. Let that sink in. Doubled our bankroll in 8 months last year for all sports clients. So you can get the rest of college hoops for $5 a day, or how about all sports all access for $1 a play? Promo code SM365 is on my page right now. A 1-year all access with an $811 discount. Check it out along with that daily free play. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.
There we go. Okay, business taken care of. Bill Siebert in the chat room on a 20-6 run right now. Congratulations, Bill. I'd like to be on the same. What are you playing today? Put it in the chat room. I'll announce it on air. Steve Merril, let's get into Kansas versus Houston. And man, I mean, this Houston team, unbelievable. We spoke about them recently. Kelly and Murray put a bet on them to win it all. I think they got 9-1. They just beat Tennessee 73-64. Very few of their games have been close. The last one against Arizona 5 games ago was within 4. But other than that, this is a team that seems to blow teams out. They're minus 9.5 against KU. One of our listeners already took Kansas at plus 10, and I get it. We got a low total as well here, Steve, 132.5. Where are you going in this game?
Houston always looks good on paper. They do every year. They're always one of the 2 or 3 top only teams in the nation that are top 10 offense and defensive efficiency. They're always one of the 1 or 2 best defensive efficiency teams going into the tournament, but it seems like they come up short every year. We'll see if they can get over that hump this year. I think one of the problems with Houston, even though they rank high efficiency offensively, they still always have that one off night, like in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. So we'll see what happens, but they're a very dangerous team. One of the teams that did give them a close game this season was actually Kansas back on January 25th. Jayhawks lost by 6, but it was in double overtime at home. Took them down to the wire there, and that game obviously had a lot of points, mainly because of OT. And Houston's not a team I want to fade. Kansas, I think, is a very overrated team this year. They're just 10-8 in the conference this year. So it's not a revenge spot for Houston. Kansas is coming off a loss to Texas Tech at home on Saturday. I'm going to stay away from the side, though. I'm going to look at the total in this one for a free play, and we'll look under the 132.5. It's been jumping around today, somewhat in that range right now. It's a low total, but Houston is such a great defensive team, and that first game's tempo in Kansas was higher than expected because Kansas likes to play fast. Houston plays at one of the 5 slowest paces in the country. I've always said it's easier to slow down a fast team, but I've also always said that home teams normally dictate tempo, and that Kansas did speed them up a bit in that first meeting. I don't think that happens here again. The fact that it didn't work well for Houston and they needed double OT to win tells me the Cougars are going to control the tempo, dictate the pace here at home. Both teams playing with just 1 day of rest as well. So I think it'll be a slower tempo. Neither team takes many three-point shots. They both get their scoring down low, and these are 2 of the best 2-point defenses in the nation. Slower tempo, good interior defense. I like the under 132.5 tonight between Houston and Kansas, and that's your national TV game Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern.
There you go. And we're also going to take apart the Duke game a little later on in the show. Steve, we got a gentleman in the chat room, a name I haven't seen, Swaggy. Great name. Thank you for joining us, Swaggy. He took Houston on the alt line at minus 6.5 at minus 180. Now that's three points less than the current line, right. and he paid 70 cents for 3 points. I have not done the math. I'm in the middle of a show, but I'm thinking that doesn't sound like the world's smartest mathematical bet. You, any thoughts?
Well, I'll give Swaggy some slack, right? I'll give him some slack, but I'll give him a pass because you said he's new, right? So that's obviously a newbie bet. Yeah, you should not be laying juice. I thought what I was expecting to hear you say was that he played a minus 12.5 at plus money on the alt line. Right. That's exactly what I was ready for you to say. So, yeah. I would definitely not ever lay. We've talked about this. Prez, I was going through some old videos to put together, and I actually found one on buying half points that you and I did about 3 years ago. I was looking at it last night, seriously. Yeah. And the one thing I said is that people always say, I'm not going to lose by the hook. So you buy the half point. You can always lose by the hook. You can buy 3 points and still lose by half a point, right? The biggest thing is get the extra half.
It could end up on 6, right?
Right. I mean, exactly. Yeah, so why not buy it down to 6? The logic doesn't work because you and I have always said this. If the sports books are allowing you to do it, they're not giving you a fair bet, but it gets exponentially worse the more points you buy because the juice gets exponentially higher. And the other thing to keep in mind is if you have enough sportsbook accounts, 4 or 5, you can get that half point for free just by line shopping, having multiple accounts. So look, you're going to always lose games by half a point. You're going to win games by half a point, but you're going to win a lot more by half a point by line shopping, have 4 or 5 outs, and getting the best number on every play.
Thank you, Steve. And I'm going to talk directly to you, Swaggy, about that as well. Steve Merril, really appreciate you having you come on the show. Thanks, my brother. Keep up the great work. So Swaggy, we're not here to make fun of you at all. Actually, I'm so thrilled you're here, and I'm so thrilled you shared your bet. I want to use these opportunities to teach. I'm 56 in May. I've been a professional bettor since I was 29 years old. I've been around the bend. I've won. I've lost. I've lost. I've lost. I've lost, and then I finally started winning. Took me about 3 years, really, of losing everything. I started as a professional bettor with $100,000 in my bankroll. I got it all the way down to 12 grand before I figured out what to do and what, most importantly, not to do. And the bottom line is, you have to look at everything in its entirety. There is a legitimate chance that Houston can win by 7 tonight. And you could say, oh my God, thank God I had -6.5, -180. Yay me, I did the right thing. That is not how it works. Math is math. You have to look at it as if you did that 100 times in a row. And if you bought 3.5 points for 70 cents in basketball 100 times in a row, you would have taken 100 grand bankroll and turned it into zero. That's how bad a bet that is. You over 100 game period, paying 70 cents for 3.5 points, you will get absolutely annihilated as a gambler. There is never a time to make that type of bet. You can work it out and say to yourself, so if they have to cover 52% of the time at -10, Houston, 52.4% of the time at -10 to break even, what percent do they have to win at -180? It's close to, it's like just under 2-1. Literally just under 2-1. It's a horrible bet. And I'm saying this to you guys because I deeply care about your bankroll and your betting. Don't be buying half points in any sport, especially in basketball, and especially 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. The more points you buy, the worse it is. Okay, public service announcement over. What do you got? What are you saying, Swaggy? I understand EV plus. Okay, great. Swaggy, that ain't for you, bro. You do your thing. That's for everybody else. Andrew McInnis joining us. How are you, bro?
Doing well, Prez. Thank you. And I'll just add, to put the emphasis on what Steve said, for us as hockey bettors, if you see, 6.5 or 6 or 5.5, and you can get that 5.5 for your over, and you decided to, on your book, because you only have one book, buy down to a 5.5. That's the big mistake. Like, I understand some people only have one book, but if you're hurting yourselves every night by betting a 6 when the book next door had a 5.5, that's crucial. So yeah, we're not lecturing anybody. We're just trying to help everybody out. And it is important to have many books. Look, we don't expect people watching right now to have 10 books at home, but if you can have 3 or 4, it really helps you out.
Yeah. And Andrew, I think it's these parts of the show that make our show as good as they are. I mean, very rare to have people as talented as, and you and I look at guys like Merril and Giani. I mean, both you and I are incredible bettors. And I mean, the talent around us is world class. And I want to give this type of information out. Like Swag, I want you to win, brother. I am cheering for you. Plus, I love your name, Swaggy. Come on, man. That's like, I told you I wanted to become a rapper. I gave myself a rapper name. So he's like DJ Swaggy. Did I tell you my rapper name?
Well, didn't you have a DJ name? I can't remember what either of those were, though. What was it?
Oh, when I was a professional Mr. Cool. When I was a professional breakdancer, I went under Mr. Cool. And yes, people, I got paid to breakdance. If I was a DJ, my name would be X. Last name, Squizit. Andrew McInnis joining us. So I was watching Puck Time today. A great show. Andrew and Carm every day, 11 a.m. Awesome. I was watching it on TikTok, and you were talking about the Senators and the Capitals and the quotes coming out of the Senators' room. I was buying what you were selling. So let's go through it again. We got the Sens playing the Caps tonight. The Sens are in a dire need of a win streak. The Capitals are on a free fall. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, Prez, right here we are, March 3rd. At the end of the day, this is playoff time. The playoffs begin right now for some of these teams that are not in a playoff spot, that are trying to earn their way into a wild card spot. And of course, that would be the Ottawa Senators. You know, there was a point in time where they were third in the division in the Atlantic. Now they aren't even hanging on to a wild card spot. They're on the outside looking in. And look, the Washington Capitals, took me a long time to buy into this team, much longer than it should have. But man, do I believe in this team at this point now. And you know what? Yeah, sure. They went through a couple games where they dropped some games to teams like St. Louis, like the Flames, you know. And I think that you look at some of these losses against the Lightning and the Blues and the Flames. But you know what? The Blues have been playing some really good hockey. The Lightning have been playing some really good hockey. And you know what? We'll give credit to the Flames because their goaltender is phenomenal, and they won a low-scoring victory over the Washington Capitals. So I'll give a pass to the Washington Capitals over those few games, and they were on fire after the Four Nations break. They just got humbled a little bit in their last few games, and to me, that's the biggest difference. As far as the Ottawa Senators are concerned, they're 1-2 outside of the Four Nations break, and the first win that they got after the Four Nations break, Prez, well, it was against the very team that the Maple Leafs are playing tonight, the San Jose Sharks. And as much as the Sharks are kind of fun to watch this year because of Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini, two young guys playing well, they're a rather easy victory for many teams. And so I'm not that impressed with Ottawa's win over San Jose. Yeah. I think we get a laser-focused Washington Capitals team here. I think Ottawa should be pissed that Washington's lost 3 games. It definitely does not help Ottawa that you're going to get a laser-focused Capitals team. I know this might sound funny, Prez, but I've brought this up before. And during football season, people talk about certain teams performing as -6 or higher favorites or -3 or higher favorites. My favorite time to bet team totals is when a team is between -140 and -160 on the money line. A -150 on the money line typically brings you to +120 or +125 on the team total. That's where I'm going here in this one. You know, I've been liking these team totals. I think this game is a really good example of it. Look, two teams that have some good goaltending, don't get me wrong, but you're getting a very, very motivated and locked in team here off 3 straight losses. The Capitals, to me, are the side in this one. And the Senators, I'm telling you, Prez, they're going to look back at some of those games they dropped in December and January and think to themselves, man, if we don't even make the playoffs here, they're in tough. Yeah. On Friday, I told you the odds makers expect them and the Rangers to make it. And then what did Columbus do? Columbus went out and won back-to-back games.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting down the stretch.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. And we've got the West Conference also shaping up. We did not expect a big group of teams vying with that final positions. But after the Four Nations Cup, all the right teams won, the wrong teams lost, and now, bam, we got a playoff race in both conferences. Andrew, let's turn our attention to this Panthers team. They're playing Florida tonight, and obviously they're playing Tampa Bay tonight, and obviously this is an incredible matchup, and a matchup that Florida has really dominated. They won 7 of the last 10 head-to-head. Tampa Bay did win their last matchup 4-0, and Tampa Bay is coming into this game winning 8 straight. This Tampa Bay team, out of the blue, is playing exceptional hockey. Florida as well, even without Tkachuk, they've won 3 in a row. They've won 5 of their last 6. They have Seth Jones now. They got to feel super good about where they are as a team. This should be a doozy of a hockey game. How should we bet it?
13-1. One of the last times I'll say it on a WagerTalk network, a WagerTalk show, 13-1. That's the price you're going to get for the Stanley Cup odds for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think if you want to jump in, now is the time. I'm not saying that they're going to win the cup and it's a sure bet, but at 13-1, you have to lock that in for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They have won 8 straight games. Florida Panthers are 8-2 in their last 10 games. But most importantly, this Tampa Bay Lightning team, in their 4 games since the Four Nations break, They have surrendered 3 goals. That is extremely impressive. When you look at their defense and how they've been playing, I've just been extremely impressed with what they've been doing. I mean, no matter who they play, no matter if it's an elite team, if it's a non-playoff team, if it's an absolute top 5 lottery team, whoever this Tampa Bay Lightning team plays, they play lockdown defense, the same style of hockey, and that's what makes them great. You know, when I look at this Tampa Bay Lightning team, there's 2 players I think of that go under the radar, and we saw a lot of them at the Four Nations break, Prez, and it was Brandon Hagel and Cirelli.
Cirelli. Yeah.
Those guys are fantastic, and I think that we learned a lot about them. And, you know, going into Four Nations or going into the Olympics, you learn in hockey, you can't bring in 4 lines of superstars to your team, right? Some people were wondering, like, where's Bedard? Where's this guy? Where's that guy? Well, you need to have the shutdown players, and I think Tampa Bay has that. Tampa Bay has the 3rd and 4th liners that can go up against the top line players for Florida and be shut down. So as much as it bothers me, Prez, about the whole LTIR thing, because you're not going to see Kachuk back, and it seems like every team that wins the Stanley Cup, the next year, their star player goes in LTIR, and now they've got $8 million in cap space. The Lightning are the side tonight. The Lightning are the team playing better, but most importantly, they're playing consistent hockey. I like them tonight, Prez. I like the road team, and I'll tell you what, talk a lot about it on Puck Time, but especially during the playoffs. More and more, I'm not really concerned about home ice advantage anymore. There's some teams in the league that I value it with. There's certain teams in the league that I couldn't care less with it. And in fact, I think we're just getting more value and a better price here with the road team. In fact, we see it all the time. You know, when teams play home and homes, that it doesn't really matter about the who's home or who's away. And a lot of times what happens, Prez, when teams play these home and homes, both teams lose in front of their own crowd. Both road teams will win the home and home, and both home crowds weren't even able to see a victory for their team. So I'll take the Lightning here in the Battle of the Sunshine State.
There we go. Andrew McInnis joining us. Andrew, before we get into our 3rd game, what do you have to promote?
Prez, the same deal that I promoted on Friday, and I really appreciate you guys for having me back on here. I love coming on WagerTalk Today. And that deal, of course, is Hat Trick 5 to get my full NHL season plus playoffs for $2.99. You're going to get every single thing that I release. My last 24 5% plays, we've made 45 units. Number 1 at the website with 5% plays. Number 1 combined 4 and 5. We've had a lot of success. Just got to get rid of those small units because the big ones have been the best for me. Sides, totals, team totals, props, whatever it is for me. $2.99 promo code HatTrick5. And Prez, congrats to you as well. You are crushing it on the ice. Hopefully, all of us can get on a really good run as we approach. It's a great time right now in the NHL, man. March, it's that playoff time, and all the games matter right now.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and the hockey is just spectacular. Andrew, this is a big game for both teams, the Islanders and the Rangers, both outside looking in. I had the Rangers signaled out to bet tonight. My plan was to bet the Rangers moving forward on an almost nightly basis. We had them yesterday. They won 4-0, but I just don't like the spot here, Andrew. I want to do it. I just don't love it. They did beat Nashville 4-0. The shots 34-34. The Islanders have won 2 in a row, and my take on this is this just a stay away game for me, because although I think the Rangers are the right play here, if the Islanders are going to get firmly back into this race, they got to win tonight, and they got a wounded, tired Rangers team. It's tonight or never for the Islanders from my perspective. So I'm just going to stay away from this game, but I'm curious where you're going.
It is a good one, Prez. As I mentioned, some of these smaller slates, the weirder days in the NHL, giving us these great games. Funny enough, both teams coming off their last game against the exact same team, the Nashville Predators. We saw New York put up 7 goals against the Predators, and we saw the Rangers shut them down 4-0. So we ask ourselves, which win do we value more? Which win do we think is more impressive? The Islanders scoring 7 or the Rangers shutting out Nashville? For me, the answer is simple. I'm always more impressed with the defensive victory. And that's what I'm looking at here. New York versus Islanders, Prez. I lean towards the under, but forget about the under 5.5. Let's get a nice plus price. Team total under 2.5 goals plus 120. The New York Islanders. If the Rangers win this game, if they get a lead, they got to protect it. That's what they haven't been able to do this year. I feel like that's what they can do against this Islanders team. They have to suffocate them. I talked about how last change and home ice hasn't mattered as much lately, but I think it will benefit New York getting that last change, getting to decide the matchups of their choice. So, guys, oftentimes you get burnt by that empty net goal. When you take the team total under for the team you expect to lose, there's no chance for you to get burnt by the empty net goal. All you need is your team you think is going to win to play great defense. And I think the New York's going to win the game. And I think the New York Islanders will stay under 2.5 goals at plus 120. I don't like these under 5.5s, Prez. I prefer doing this team total way, and long-term it's helped me out. Sure, it's definitely burnt me when I'm wrong about the team I think is going to win the game. But it's nice to get that plus 120 here. And I do see a 4-2 victory for the New York Rangers.
There we go. Andrew McInnis, outstanding stuff. Andrew, thanks for doing this, man. Guys, you can see Andrew every day, Monday to Friday on Puck Time. That is up now live at WagerTalk TV. We tape the show live. You can hop in the chat room. You can talk to Andrew and Carm. It's a really, really great show. Thanks for doing this, brother. Okay, guys, let's keep the show moving. Jesse Schule. Then I'm going to take apart every NHL game of the board, and we're going to end with the great Gianni the Greek. Jesse, welcome to the show, and anything to add so far?
About the NHL?
About anything you want, Jesse. The microphone is yours.
All right. I was going to say you were mentioning the Islanders in a desperate spot, but when I look at them ranking almost dead last in both power play percentage and penalty killing percentage, I wouldn't bet on the Islanders with your money, Press.
Well, I have a lot of money, Jesse, so it wouldn't really affect me that much if you did. So feel free to bet on the Islanders with my money. With that said, I wouldn't bet on the Islanders with my money either. And I love the Rangers, and I love them for a run here. It's a shit spot for the Rangers. No matter how I slice it, they had the Leafs. They had Nashville. This is 3 games in 4 nights. This is a back-to-back situation. Patrick Waugh has got his team playing better right now. I'm with you. I agree. I just can't get to the window in that game.
I agree. It's a stay-away spot. I tried to force out a play on this game. I was looking at it thinking, Jesus, the Rangers should be a play on the Rangers, but I can't force myself into it. Right. I think it is a good stay-away game for me.
Right. And that's where we're going. Okay, let's turn our attention to Duke. The Blue Devils, coached by a tribe member. They're playing Wake Forest. You didn't even know that, by the way.
I better know who they're playing if I'm going to give a play.
I bet you did. I bet you didn't know their coach was a tribe member. But anyway, nobody cares except me. How do we bet this game?
Well, at first glance, I wake up this morning, I look at Duke. They're a 20.5-point favorite. And I'm scratching my head thinking, how could anybody in their right mind lay 20.5, even though it is Duke and they're damn good. I mean, they're 26-3 on the season, 16-0 at home, 17-1 in the ACC. They lead the ACC in scoring, 83.2 points per game. They got the best defense in the ACC, 61.1 points per game allowed. But if you know anything about this rivalry between Duke and Wake Forest, these two teams have played close games. Wake Forest is 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 meetings. Wake lost by just 7 at home to Duke earlier this season. And it looks like that money has been coming in on Wake. This line's now down to 19.5 at most books. I wouldn't feel comfortable with my money on either side of this game. So I'm going to focus on the total. And when I look at totals, I like to look at pace of play. I prefer betting on unders rather than overs, but you look at this game and Duke, They rank 284th nationally in possessions per game. So they play as one of the slowest paced teams in the country. That's normally a recipe for an under. But one thing that stood out to me, their last 3 games, 74 and a half possessions per game. They've scored 100 plus in 3 straight at home. They're averaging 99 points per game in their last 5 games overall. This is their final home game. They got a chance to lay a whooping on a Wake Forest team that has given them trouble in the past. I'm going to look at Duke's team total over 82 and a half, which is actually less than what they average on the season, home or away. I know Wake likes to play them hard, but I'm just not sure Wake can hang in there in this game. And if they can, I think they're going to have to score 70 plus. I think Duke's going to score over 82 and a half.
Jesse Schule joining us. Guys, only 25% of you have hit that like button. What's up? Come on. Anyway, Oklahoma City, Houston. This Oklahoma City team, my God, Jesse, 49-12, repping Canada, half their lineup Canadian, a very good-looking team with a bunch of exceptionally nice people. They're minus 9.5 against Houston, a total of 228.5. Where are you going in this game, my friend?
Well, I don't know how you know if they're nice people or not, Prez. I can't comment on that. But...
Well, I'll tell you. I will tell you. Because they're Canadian. They're all Canadian. Right.
I think the chat could probably back me up that you're Canadian too, Prez. But
yeah. We're not all nice. We're not all nice, Jesse. We're just generalization. We are nice people. But I'm actually African, Jesse. I am African. And you want to know something? It's African Canadian month. And I told my stepson, I don't know if this is a good or bad idea, but I told my stepson that as an African, I was happy to come into his school and talk about my life as an African and my trials and my tribulations as an African. So I'm waiting to hear back if they are interested in that at all. But I thought, I'm African, and
as a betting man,
I'm happy to talk
on that.
So who's the racist, Jesse? Is it me? I'm actually African, or is it them who won't let me speak as an actual African?
Oh, man, do I have to answer that? I think it's them. I think it's definitely them. But enough with the racism. Let's talk Oklahoma City. They are Canadian. Prez says they're nice. I'm not sure about that. But one thing I can say is that they are young, and it will benefit them to be young when they're playing on back-to-back nights off a 146-132 victory over San Antonio. And back-to-back nights for the Rockets. They're playing the first leg of a back-to-back. They got a game in Indiana tomorrow. And when I look at the injury report for Houston today, it's a bit of a red flag. There's a warning sign there that Houston's waving the white flag. They've got their entire starting lineup listed as questionable with various BS ailments, sore back, not feeling well. It looks like they're going to rest their starters. They're going to throw in the towel for this game, and they're going to go all in for tomorrow's game at Indiana. 4 starters out. Van Fleet is out for sure. 3 other guys with questionable tags. This Oklahoma City team, 25-4 at home, 5-1 straight up in their last 6 home games against Houston. All 5 of those games were double-digit wins. I don't want to lay the 9.5 here, but I will take Oklahoma City minus 5.5 for the first half, as I'm expecting Houston to throw in the towel.
There we go. Kings and Dallas. That's the last game we're talking about tonight. We got Jesse Schule with us. Sacramento minus 2.5. A total here of 235.5. How you betting this one?
Yeah, well, at first glance, you look at this game, Dallas actually opened as a favorite, which appeared to be a bit of an overreaction to the news that Sabonis is out with a hamstring strain. You look at Dallas, Sabonis has not actually been playing that well lately, and I know this because I bet on his points totals a couple times and was really disappointed. In his last 4 games, he scored 14, 7, 12, and then he only played 1 minute in the last game. And the backup center, Jonas Valanciunas, comes in. And the Kings are actually in pretty good shape, losing their leading scorer, losing a player of Sabonis' stature with Valanciunas, who is a capable backup center. Valanciunas scored 15 points, pulled in 14 rebounds. They beat Houston by a score of 113-103. The Kings have won 6 of their last 8. 4 of those 6 wins came on the road. And you got that backup center, Valanciunas, going up against a Dallas front court that is without the likes of Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, and PJ Washington. They are very thin in the front court. I think Valanciunas will feast tonight. I like the Kings. I will take them on the money line, minus that 120 you got there, Prez.
Perfect, and I like that bet. We've already discussed many occasions. If it's under 2, take them on the money line. We've done the math. It does work out to your advantage over the long haul. Jesse, thanks for doing this, brother. What do you have to promote for the clients?
Well, we have an all-access 7-day pass for myself. Only $77 for 7 days, all sports. Use the promo code ICE777. I am the number 1 NBA handicapper at WagerTalk since January 1st of 2024 and number 1 all-time with player props. And I got not 1, not 2, but 3 player props on my card tonight.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks for doing this, brother. Gianni the Greek still to come. Before we get into that, I'm going to race through every NHL game on the board. Let's get into it. Washington playing Ottawa tonight. Look, a really, really important game for Ottawa. This team is reeling right now. They got to get themselves back on the winning ways. But Washington also has lost a few games in a row or are struggling. I look at this game and I think stay off the side. I don't love anything here. I lean on under the total of 5.5. I do think we get a low-scoring hockey game. I think 3-1 feels about right. That's 4 goals. Take under 5.5. The Rangers are playing the New York Islanders tonight, and my original thought was to take the Rangers, as this is a team I plan on riding moving forward. The only problem here is it's a bad spot for them. We've spoke about this on the show, and the New York Islanders are in absolute fix their season mode. This is a game that I am staying away from sidewise, but I do lean on over the total of 6. So under the total of 5.5 in Washington and Ottawa, over the total of 6 in the Rangers game. Florida playing Tampa Bay tonight. I like a high-scoring game here. I like over the total of 5.5 in this game. I think it's going to be a doozy of a hockey game. Montreal and Buffalo. I like the over in this game, and I lean on Montreal here. Montreal playing much better hockey of late and still in the thick of things. They need to win, and they need to win games like this against bottom feeders like Buffalo. I like the over, and I like Montreal. Toronto playing San Jose. This is a terrible spot for Toronto. If they were playing any team that was even slightly better than San Jose, I would be all over that team. With that said, I cannot play on San Jose. We're going to look to take the over in this game and the Toronto Maple Leafs team total over as well. And Chicago is playing the LA Kings. I like under the total of 5.5. That's every game on the board. I'm Lawrence Presman. I have one client play up tonight in the NHL. I am absolutely dominating the NHL, killing it, guys. I won my last 2. I'm now on a 6-2 and 32-16 run. I'm the number 1 most profitable NHL expert at WagerTalk, and I have been for a while. Get my NHL play tonight. Thank you, Gianni. How are you, my friend?
Never better. Coming off a split on Sunday, but it was a good weekend overall. Cashed the big one Saturday. Had a winning MMA day. Like I said, first 5% I fired in college basketball. Got through easily with Gonzaga. So just grinding, brother. Just grinding. Was able to get that cheap Bitcoin below 80. That was a gift the other day. They're not going to keep giving that. And Solana came down to that 0.618 fib at dude, I had it first set at 160. I told my girl, take it all, put it at 130. And then I said, you know what? If it happens to come down where it's supposed to 126, about 125, then we'll buy it. Otherwise, let's not, because I don't think alts are going to do all that great. And whatever happened the other day, it came down there, and when we woke up, she's like, hey, that buy order went through. And so, yeah, pretty good. I didn't sell it just because it's cheap. You know what I mean? I didn't buy it for like a trade. I bought that for long term.
Yeah,
if it gets everything, it's down there. Just tuck it away. Forget you have it. You know what I mean? But every once in a while, you get a gift. That's why you got to keep some dry powder. Always keep some dry powder.
Gianni, my woman is standing right in front of me. You want to make an appearance here?
Lucky you.
Here we go. Ready? Here we go. There she is.
Where am I looking?
Well,
right
Where's
there.
the?
How are
Hi,
you,
Wager
Viv?
Talk family.
Welcome.
Gianni's saying, how are you? She's good, but she wants to know about bets. So
we got bets. We got bets.
You can go now. Out. You want to know what a champion my woman is?
Give it to me.
I can't tell you on air, but she went to bed at 9 o'clock last night, and for some reason she woke up at 2 a.m. and I happened to be awake. That's
What
how
a good
good
girl.
my That's
God bless
how good
America and Canada.
Right.
God bless America and Canada.
There
What a
you
country.
go. I love this IED person. IUD. He's just so nice. What a nice guy.
Stick around, IED. Stick around. I'm going to give you some dog. I gave out 2 favorites in tennis. We went 2-0 in tennis yesterday with some favorites. When I see they bet it double, they're the only time I give it to subscribers now because I try to stay low volume. So when they bet the money line and the point spread on tennis, like -1.5 and -270, I'll release those to subscribers. They sweat. I gave 2 more today where they bet double the money line and the points. But then there's a couple dogs that I just bet, I moved for them that I didn't release to subscribers. I'll give those for free out here because, again, it's Monday morning, and hopefully the followers and the supporters could do some damage. Want me to give them real quickly so then we can move on to hoops and anything else? All right, here you go. It's ATP. It's the men's league. It's in Indian Wells. Let me give it to you now. Ready? 235-970. 235-970. Albert Radu, R-A-D-U. Albert Radu, R-A-D-U. We started betting that at +210. Stop betting it at +180. So 180 or better on Radu, you're good. Here's another dog for you. Chun Sin Cheng. Last name, T-S-E-N-G. T-S-E-N-G. First name, I believe, Chun, C-H-U-N. All the way good to about +120. We started betting them at +135 all the way down to +120. And let me give you one double-digit dog as well. An easy name, Lucas Klein. K-L-E-I-N. Lucas Klein, K-L-E-I-N. Started betting it at +225. They had me stop betting it at +175. So there's, and one more dog. Why not? Because this one's an easier one as well. Christian Garin, 233-609, 233-609. Christian Garin at +150 or better because we started betting at +170. Stop betting it at +150. Those are 4 dogs. Don't know if they're going to go cash any of those. Again, I didn't release those to subscribers, but I did bet them, take a percentage of the account, so I want them to win. But the 2 that we double bet were favorites. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get down now anyway because the one's probably near -400 right now, and the other one's got to be over 250. So when they double bet it like that, you just time sensitive. That's why I gave the subscribers quickly. But that's enough for the tennis. We got college hoops because March Madness is upon us.
Gianni, before we get into that, a bunch of people in the chat room are saying, Prez, why do you like the Kings and the Blackhawks under 5.5? Because I just said I liked it, but I didn't break it down. So let me give you really quickly a real sort of conceptual take on why. The Los Angeles Kings are a team that plays to the under. That's how they define themselves. They are 23-32 to the under. That is a substantial difference. That's a 9-game difference. So we know that this is a team that wants to play to the under. They allowed St. Louis 4 goals. They allowed Dallas 6. They've allowed 10 goals in their last 5 games, their last 2 games. That's 5 goals a game. They are now playing the Hawks. Their coach is going in there saying, okay, boys, this Hawks team can't score. Let's shut it down. Let's get back to playing the right way. Let's get back to how we define ourselves. We're a defensive first team. This is a great spot to be a defensive first team. On top of that, Chicago just put up 6-5 in their last 2 games. But prior to that, 1-2-1. They're the lowest scoring team in hockey. I want to take them after they I want to take them under after a high goal output. So we got the Kings allowing goals. They're going to fix that. We got the Hawks scoring goals. They'll fix that themselves. That's why I lean on the under. Gianni, my apologies, but I wanted to break that down.
I'm betting it now. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm betting it for a dime because I like it. When I'm looking in the back end and what I see on the line, I like that one under, and I'm going to give you some hockey so I get your opinions real quickly. This is what jumps out at me. But it's probably not 6 anymore. Under in Tampa, Florida. Florida. Islanders and under. Buffalo. And what else? What else do I got for you? And that under in the Kings. Those are 4 that I don't think you lose money betting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I got obviously we're aligned on the under in the Kings game. The Buffalo-Montreal side, I'm staying away from. And the Tampa Bay, Florida, I can see it. New York Islanders and Rangers is just a total stay away. Stay away game. I just can't. I can't.
Just that under Lager. I'm under in the Kings with you. That's it.
What do we do with Tesla, Gianni? The stock has plummeted. Is there some value on purchasing Tesla, in your opinion?
Yeah. Here's what it is. Right now, it's under its bull market support band. Anytime you ever bought Tesla under that bull market support band, you made money as long as you were willing to hold it for 12 months or higher. I have a buy order right now. I'll tell you right now where I have it exactly. I don't think it's going to get there at 251. I bought some at 275 the other day because I think if the economy doesn't tank, this is a $600 stock by the end of the year.
Right.
I really do think you could double your money on Tesla. No one's paying attention to it right now because Elon's all over the presidency. It seems like he's not paying attention to Twitter. He's not paying attention to Tesla or his SpaceX. Trust me, he's got competent people in charge. He doesn't have to be there for the company to be running nicely. I think it was a great buying opportunity once it started dumping over the last week from like 350 all the way down. Let's not forget, it was just January where it was up to $418, $420. So now you're able to get it at 290. I don't think you lose money. If you're willing to hold this for 12 months or more, you're not losing money. Under the bull market support band, for me, that's a buy. Like I said, I picked some up at that 270 range, but I'm backing up the truck at 251 is where I have that buy order. 252, right around there. If it gets there, loving it.
Gianni, 2 minutes. The microphone is yours. Go.
Little college basketball, extra board games. We took Bethune-Cookman at -3.5, -4, and also Northwestern State -1.5 and -2. Not a lot of volume so far, but we did bet Northern Colorado. Northern Colorado at -7, even laid up the -120 to get that 7 because I think it moved a little bit. And we're on the dog against Duke. Took the 20.5, 20 and 19.5 on Wake Forest as well. I got a 4-pack up for you with college basketball premiums. A 4% already in there. And hopefully when the dust settles, we have a winning day and a good week ahead.
Beautiful stuff. Gianni the Greek, what do you got for the clients?
Sitting there for you, the package. And we're doing the final walkthrough for the Blackjack seminar. I'm realizing now I'm only going to be able to have a certain amount of people because it's just going to be too many. You can't teach 30 people. Now I know why they limited to 5, the course that I went to. That was an in-person course. This is online, so we could probably take double that, maybe 15 max, and that's going to start next week. That will start. Our first course starts next week. I believe it's going to be on Monday, and there's a UFC pay-per-view on Saturday. So a big card coming up, and I will be at Slap on Friday night. If you're in town, it's an awesome time. Go to Fountain Blue. It's a great event. It's not expensive either, and it's a really, really fun time. If you're in town, hit up Slap at Fountain Blue and make sure you say hello.
What a show. We're done, everybody. Make sure to join us tomorrow, please. We got Ross Benjamin coming on. He's going to look at the Auburn, Texas A&M game. BYU at Iowa State, the Warriors and the Knicks. Paul Moti, our cricket guy, back. If you haven't heard him, he literally gives out free money. Andy Lang and Gianni the Greek. That's our show on behalf of Dan Alexander and myself. Lots of love, everybody. Let's all win tonight.